closing.
They don't have to rush this. They don't have to close too right now.
And then he got his first job at First Avenue in the 1980s and went on to earn a star on the venue's legendary wall himself.
This was a dream job for him.
How First Avenue stage manager Conrad Sverkerson is being remembered.
Plus, the Minneapolis Institute of Art is home to more than 90,000 artworks. We'll show you how they're inspiring a local man.
It's just the fact it's a painting or a drawing and me and a pencil and an eraser.
This is Fox 9 News at 9.
And notices are going to be hitting people's mailboxes on if their plan is going away or not.
Okay. In 90 days, thousands of Minnesotans will lose their Medicare Advantage coverage.
Those plans come from private insurers and offer more benefits than original Medicare, including prescription drug coverage. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni joining us now. And Mike, several insurance companies say they're pulling back on plans next year.
Randy and Kelsey, Twin Cities-based UnitedHealth is just one of them. It says it'll no longer offer Medicare Advantage programs in 45 counties, and that'll impact about 20% of its Medicare Advantage subscribers statewide. UnitedHealth says it plans to get out of nearly 24 counties. The insurer says this will primarily impact people in southern Minnesota. It blamed the move on funding cuts to Medicare. Health insurance agent Tim Jopp joined all day this afternoon to explain what happens on January 1st if you do nothing and what you can do to make sure you do have coverage in the new year.
You still have some insurance, you just won't have prescription drug coverage, and your deductibles change, your co-pays change, things like that are different on original Medicare than what they're like when you're on a Medicare Advantage plan. But they're also going to be able to buy or look at other Medicare Advantage plans or look at a supplement, whichever one is a better fit for them.
And UnitedHealth isn't alone here. Minneapolis-based UCare is getting out of the Medicare Advantage business altogether next year. Blue Cross, Aetna, and health partners are also pulling out of some Minnesota counties. If you'd like to watch that full conversation from all day, we have that for you on fox9.com. Randy.
All right, Mike, thank you. Right now, the lawmaker that represents White Bear Lake is calling for the district superintendent to resign. That after discovery of a 22-year-old man posing as a 17-year-old student there. In a letter, State Representative Elliot Ingen says this breach allowed the man to commit illegal sexual acts against a minor, representing a catastrophic lapse in basic enrollment verification protocols. Tonight, we had our Babs Santos look into Minnesota's high school enrollment process. Babs, you also spoke with State Representative Elliot Ingen.
Yeah, and he says now is the time to enhance school district verification requirements and improve resources for districts to implement robust background and identity checks. Currently, White Bear Lake High School and many other school districts require a birth certificate, driver's license or utility bill, and immunization records from enrollees. The district has said while enrolling this individual, we followed our enrollment process, which is as rigorous as state law allows. However, it admits the alleged imposter used fraudulent documents and a false identity to gain entry. Now, Ingen wants all districts to have the same standards for identity verification, replacing exemptions for migrant students, and he's already having conversations about possible legislation with a handful of his colleagues.
I think that this is White Bear Lake potentially trying to save face and shield themselves from a lawsuit, because if they had done everything right, I doubt that this would have happened, because it doesn't seem to be happening anywhere else.
This is the suspect in a recent photograph shared with us after White Bear Lake's recent homecoming night. And from our reporting, we know he was known by students for about the last month or so as football player 17-year-old KJ Perry. But in reality, he is 22-year-old Kelvin Lubke. He was adopted from Liberia at the age of 5 and more recently lived in the area with caretakers who believe he has age dysphoria and 2 birth certificates. Lubke has previously been convicted for sending a naked photograph to a 15-year-old. Tonight, Fox 9 also confirmed that Lubke was enrolled as a student athlete at Forest Lake Area High School from January of 2022 to January of 2023. Currently, police in White Bear Lake are pursuing more criminal charges against him related to this recent fraud, forgery, and unlawful conduct involving interactions with minors. Kelsey?
All right, thanks, Babs. Well, we have some encouraging news tonight from the family of Lydia Kaiser. She was one of the survivors of the mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church and School in Minneapolis last month. The 12-year-old is now back at school, and as you can see in a picture, this is a previous picture. She looks great, and she has undergone 2 surgeries. Her family says she's happy to be reunited with her friends, and we are glad to see her back at school.
The civil lawsuit against Fleet Farm is moving forward after a federal judge denied the company's efforts to dismiss the case. The state of Minnesota is suing Fleet Farm for not doing enough to stop illegal straw purchases and selling guns that showed up at crime scenes across the Twin Cities. Fox 9 investigator Nathan O'Neill breaks down the story for us tonight.
A federal judge is allowing the civil lawsuit against Fleet Farm to move forward, despite efforts from the retailer to get the case dismissed.
It's legal to buy guns, it's legal to sell guns, but you have to do it properly.
Attorney General Keith Ellison filed the lawsuit back in 2022 after a mass shooting at the Truck Park Bar in downtown St. Paul, where 14 people were injured and 27-year-old Markeisha Wiley was killed. The gun used in the mass shooting was traced back to Jerome Horton Jr. The Fox 9 investigators previously found Horton illegally bought dozens of guns at Fleet Farm locations for people who weren't supposed to have them. Fleet Farm has denied any wrongdoing and asked the judge to dismiss the lawsuit altogether. But in this written ruling, the judge points out how dozens of those guns have not been recovered and, quote, pose an ongoing public safety threat to Minnesotans as a whole. Ellison celebrated the ruling, saying, quote, I will continue to use all the tools at my disposal to improve public safety in Minnesota. And while Fleet Farm was able to convince the judge to throw out some of the claims, including aiding and abetting, the lion's share of the lawsuit is now moving forward. For the Fox 9 investigators, Nathan O'Neill.
And we reached out to attorneys for Fleet Farm for comment. So far, we have not heard back.
The 3 Burnsville fire first responders killed in the line of duty were included in the 2024 domestic homicide report. Violence Free Minnesota included them in the group of 11 people killed while trying to help domestic violence victims. That is on top of 13 people killed by current or former partners. And all that brings the total deaths in 2024 to 24.
We owe more than grief. We owe action. It takes more than one system and more than one agency to respond to this crisis. It takes all of us.
And if you or somebody you know is experiencing domestic violence, call Day One at the number on your screen to be connected to immediate support, or call 911 if it is an emergency.
And just into our newsroom, a man is dead and a woman and another man are in the hospital after a shooting in Barron County, Wisconsin. Police responded to a home for shots fired call and found a man dead and a woman injured there. She was rushed to the hospital. The extent of her injuries is not known tonight. Police found the suspected shooter with what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He, too, was taken to a hospital where his condition is unknown. Authorities are investigating what led up to this shooting in Barron County. The Minnesota Department of Health is urging people to get vaccinated after reporting 10 new measles cases in just a matter of days. Those new cases bring the state's total to 18. According to MDH, all 10 cases are tied to either domestic or international travel. All the cases reported were in the metro. In all, the cases are among unvaccinated people. The Twin Cities International Schools in Minneapolis confirming one of their students is among the 10 new cases. Officials say the best way to deal with measles is to get the MMR vaccine. Just across the river, several elementary schools could close.
Up next, a live report from Hudson to look at the reasons why this is happening.
And the owner of several Sylvan Learning Centers across the Twin Cities is filing for bankruptcy. Our Paul Bloom dives deeper into the impact of that. But first, Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard is tracking some potentially record-setting temps on the first day of October.
How about that? It's October the 1st. Temperatures today, upper 70s into the mid-80s. And we'll get warmer as we head toward the weekend. How do you feel about 90? That's what we're talking about coming up at 9:30 in your warm weather first forecast.